You're watching two people say goodbye at a train station. They kiss. You don't think anything of it. Of course they kiss. What else would they do? But here's what nobody tells you. Roughly half of the humans who have ever lived on this planet would look at that scene and find it genuinely strange. Not romantic, not sweet, strange. The way you might feel watching someone greet a friend by sticking a finger in their eye. Which, by the way, is exactly what capuchin monkeys do to show affection. Kissing feels like the most natural thing in the world. Scientists thought so too. For decades, the estimate was that around 90% of human cultures kiss. Then, in 2015, an anthropologist named William Jankowiak actually checked. He studied 168 cultures from around the world and found romantic kissing in fewer than half of them, 46%. His own reaction, in print, was, "You wouldn't believe it. It seems so natural." So where did it actually come from, and why do some of us do it while others find the whole thing baffling? The oldest written record of kissing doesn't come from Greece or Rome or ancient India, though scholars assumed for a long time that India held the record, pointing to Vedic Sanskrit texts from around 1500 BCE. Then, in 2023, two researchers at Oxford looked more carefully at clay tablets from Mesopotamia, the civilization that existed between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in what is now Iraq and Syria. They found descriptions of lip kissing going back to 2500 BCE, 1,000 years older than the previous record. The text is carved into something called the Barton cylinder, written in Sumerian, a language so ancient it has no living relatives in any modern tongue, and it describes two deities having intercourse and kissing. The British Museum holds a Babylonian clay model from 1800 BCE showing exactly the same scene, a couple intertwined on a bed, kissing. These weren't outliers, they were ordinary. But the written record is just the most recent layer. Underneath it, the biology goes much deeper. In 2025, an evolutionary biologist at Oxford named Mia Brindle used a statistical modeling technique, running millions of simulated evolutionary scenarios on the primate family tree, and traced the roots of kissing back to a single common ancestor of all large apes. The window, somewhere between 21.5 and 16.9 million years ago, long before our species existed, long before language, long before fire. Two hypotheses compete to explain how it started. The first points to grooming. Great apes spend enormous amounts of time picking through each other's fur, removing parasites with their lips and teeth. As human ancestors lost their fur, a process that happened gradually over hundreds of thousands of years, the grooming sessions got shorter, but researchers at the University of Warwick argue the final moment of that ritual, the lip contact at the end, survived. Stripped of its original purpose, it became something else, a signal of closeness, an echo of care. The other hypothesis points to something even intimate, pre-mastication, the practice of a mother chewing food and transferring it mouth to mouth to an infant too young to chew. Ethnographers have documented this on every continent, in every type of society, from hunter-gatherers to industrialized cultures. The physical motion is nearly identical to a deep kiss. Every species that kisses also engages in pre-mastication. The connection is not coincidental. What began as feeding became bonding, and bonding became desire. And then there's the disease question, which nobody expected. A single 10-second kiss transfers around 80 million bacteria. Herpes simplex virus 1 spreads through saliva. Ancient Mesopotamian medical texts describe symptoms that researchers believe may match early herpes outbreaks. Some scientists have proposed that the spread of romantic kissing and the spread of certain oral pathogens are linked, that every time kissing reached a new population, it brought something else along with it. So why do we still do it? Because when you kiss someone you're bonded to, really bonded to, Couples who kiss 9 or more times a day develop measurably similar oral microbiomes. Their bodies, at a microbial level, begin to converge. The kiss may have started as grooming or feeding or mate assessment, but somewhere along the way it became something the body actually uses, a biological signal of belonging. The Thonga people of South Africa watched Europeans kissing for the first time in 1890 and were disgusted. The Mehinaku of the Amazon still find it unappealing today. But the two people at that train station, they're doing something that started before our species had a name for it, before we had language at all. A behavior so old it may predate the memory of doing it.